We are back once again with Lars from Best in Tesla, who's got a unique perspective on all things Tesla, specifically a perspective from Europe. Yeah, that's a real place. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. Lars, good to see you, my friend. How you been?
Good, thank you. Good.
So I've seen there's been all these claims about demand is falling in China. Maybe they've got a recession, perhaps they've got some lockdown issues, some health issues. Demand is falling in the U.S. because for the next few days, there's a lot of uncertainty about how big the EV credit's going to be. All that, I think that'll correct in a few days. I think next quarter will be gangbusters in the U.S. What's demand doing in Europe for Tesla, for EVs, for cars in general?
Well, I think the trend is pretty much the same here as most places, that ICE cars are not doing that great, but EVs are still skyrocketing, and Tesla is doing better this year than they did last year. And the competition, yeah, they're not really keeping up this year. Last year, Tesla was the year ended off where I thought, okay, they're not gonna catch the Volkswagen brand in EV. But as the last numbers ticked in through the first couple of months of 2022, they actually just overtook the Volkswagen brand with a couple of hundred vehicles or something like that. But this year they have been in front the whole time, and they are actually pulling away right now. I like only 3 weeks ago they were like 28,000 units in front of the Volkswagen brand, and now they are over 38 or something like that. So and we have seen all of these ships coming into Europe from China. That was a lot of ships, a lot more ships that we are usually seeing. And then we have the Berlin factory ramping up, so we're gonna have a lot of new shiny Model Ys coming out of that factory delivered to all of Europe. I just got one myself from the Berlin factory.
Now, which models are being made in Berlin so far?
So far, it's the Model Y long range and the performance they have kicked off. Yeah.
Okay. How does the price compare now that it's made in Berlin versus when it was coming from China for the same model?
Well, the prices here in Denmark anyway has been pretty steady. It's been gone up and down a little bit, but they have been through the year falling a little bit. But it's not been huge price changes in my country for the Model Y, but they did get up a little bit, but have been falling down again. Like it has been from the high to the low, $7,000 or something equivalent to that.
Because I know some countries charge an import tax for any car made in China versus no import tax for cars made in the European Union. Does that affect you?
It should, but I don't see it really on the price changes. Because the Model 3 has also dropped in price, and that is not coming from the Berlin factory. So,
No.
So I think the prices in general from Tesla has just been dropping a bit. So it's hard to see if that's from the Berlin factory or not, because it's not like they have dropped significantly, so that I have noticed like a huge drop in the Tesla price.
Now, both China's Gigafactory and the one in Germany are still increasing production, increasing output. Some people look at shorter wait times and come to the conclusion somehow that means less demand, even though the whole point of increasing production was to shorten the wait time. How are the wait times looking in Europe?
We're looking at only a couple of months, depending on the model and the version and what extra wheels you get or whatever. But it's not like if you want the new cherry red from the Berlin factory, yes, you have to wait until May or June or July next year. But if you just want the black Model Y, you can get it within a couple of months still. So the wait time is pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's not as short as I would expect for a busted growth story.
No, exactly.
No.
Definitely not.
So that tells me that even though China's output and exports have increased, even though Berlin is ramping nicely, they're already in excess of 3,000 units a week, that there is still more demand than can be met with these levels of production.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and 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 Berlin is really going to ramp up next year and have some really high volumes, and they are pretty much all. Some are going to, is it Taiwan in from the Berlin
Oh,
factory?
so Taiwan and I think Singapore both do not accept imports from China.
Oh, that's why. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Because I was kind
nothing.
of
We do
what?
not do business with China. So yeah, those have been coming from other factories.
Yeah,
I know
from because
Fremont had sent some too.
yeah. So but yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how strong the demand is in Europe because next year, if they can do 350,000 from that factory, that's a lot of cars compared to what they are bringing out this year.
Now Volkswagen has backpedaled a little on their commitment to EVs. Can you tell us a quick bit about that?
Yeah. Since they kicked out Herbert Diess, they said that this was the only real way to go, and they wanted a new factory up and running in Germany because they kind of realized that refurbishing the old factories took as long as building a new one, and it cost almost the same, and they couldn't keep up with the production rate of Tesla. So they wanted to build this new huge factory in Germany for the Trinity platform that is going to be much better, but they have now delayed that until by the end of the decade. So that was supposed to come out in 2026, but delayed that. So yeah, they're gonna try to make a revamp of the MEB platform that they don't really they have a lot of trouble with, and even their R team that make the RS versions of their cars, the performance cars, have been out saying that they're not good enough for their performance to get the R. So I don't think we're going to get any fun performance car from Volkswagen before the end of the decade, and that's kind of a shame and not giving them a big halo effect. So, and they're not going to reach their target either for this year of 700,000 or 750,000. If to get even close to that, they have to make as many EVs in Q4 as they have done through the whole year so far. So I don't think see that happening either. So they're backpedaling on everything pretty much.
Well, I know a lot of people have said, "Oh, once the big boys get their act together, once the big boys try, it's over for Tesla." Now
Yeah.
you know that Volkswagen, I think, had an EV factory in China that just did not do well. The Mach E has a factory in China. You hear nothing about that because I assume who cares? It's and you'd made a video maybe 2-3 months ago where you were talking about the cost of retooling, where
Mm.
everyone was saying, "Oh, well, they've already got the factories. All they need to do is just flip a switch and make EVs." But then
Yeah.
you noticed that to retrofit one plant cost $1 billion or $2 billion. And when they were done, the speed of production compared to Tesla was, do you remember it offhand? How long? Because Herbert had tracked it and said it
Yeah.
takes Tesla this long. What was
10
it?
hours for Tesla to build the Model 3 and 30 hours for the ID3 from their Switch Cow factory. That was their state of the art factory, and it can only produce up to 350,000, and it cost them $1.3 billion to retool.
And it's huge.
Yeah.
It's ginormous. And then I don't know if you remember the timing of it, but it was like a week or two later. Giga Shanghai went offline or Giga Berlin went offline for retooling to increase production capacity.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh no, we were so far behind and now they're going faster.
Yeah. They're going to speed up now.
And the big thing, my big takeaway is a lot of people are saying, look at how poorly they get vehicles to market. Look at all these mistakes they make. They're incompetent. My friend, if those things are true, and maybe they are, once those are corrected, you guys are done.
Yeah.
if they're still at 25, 30% margin with all these foolish inefficiencies, the big dogs have no excuse for these failures.
Yeah.
How is Europe looking in terms of recession at the moment?
I think we're gonna feel it just as much as everybody else, and yeah, I think most are expecting it to come here in 2023 in Europe as well. So I think most people are preparing for that. I'm just buying Tesla stocks; they are very cheap right now. That's how I would prepare for the recession.
Well, sure, you bought in 2019 when it was cheap, but then it got expensive, and no one, I can't buy. My friend, the price has gone back down. Are you ready? Well, now I'm not going to buy it because it's going down. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, just say you're not going to buy it.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. At some point, you have to get past the fear, and we're at something like a PE ratio of like 25 now.
Yeah.
It's in the Apple territory. So let's, I mean, hey, again, all this nonsense going on with the stock, with Twitter, and with the short sellers, none of that has anything to do with the actual fundamentals of the business.
No.
It's not like someone said, I just left the FSD division and I know this bombshell, short the company. That didn't happen. None of that. Oh, the airbag. No, that's not. There's no tangible reason for all this. And it's hitting everyone. So when the stock goes back up, you have no one to blame but yourself if you didn't buy any.
Yeah. Because now we're back down where people wanted to buy, like a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, just got in,
man.
At that time.
Yeah. It's a hell of a deal. So, Lars, I do want to thank you for your time. I could tell my viewers to check you out. I think they already do. But just in case, he's at Best in Tesla. And he's does, I don't know, pretty good work. No, I obviously watch all your videos.
Oh.
Yeah. So thanks. And in the comments, guys, what did we miss? What do we misunderstand? Leave all your thoughts below. And who knows? Maybe we'll even read them. It's impossible to say. All right. So thanks, guys. And I'll talk to you soon.